Yo, this is your boy EC22, man. Thank you for stopping by here on the Fat Weather Fan podcast and just chilling out with your boy for a few minutes. But while you're here, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the all of the above, like, subscribe, share the video with your friends and family. But most importantly, please get involved with the conversation. As most of you have already have, I already appreciate what you do by getting engaged in the conversation. But please like, subscribe to the channel, help this channel grow. If you're gonna sit up here and listen to me talk my nonsense, please at least share it and follow me. No, just play. I'm not begging for followers, but I'm just throwing it out there because that's what we're supposed to do as podcasters and social media people, right? We got to get our followers up. But anyway, with that being said, man, listen, I am here to talk about Angel Reese. And I've been brewing over this all day long. I've been trying to get my thoughts together. Um, but I'm gonna try my best to be as quick as possible. I don't want to sound like I'm going on a rant, but there's a few things I got to get off my chest. Y'all, I just don't like the negative energy surrounding Angel Reese and what people are saying about her because I don't understand literally where it's coming from rhetorically, but I know where it's coming from. But I think is misunderstood and misplaced judgment on Angel Reese. If that's the word. Yeah, I think it's just misplaced judgment, and I think have some people, not all, some people have chosen the side between her and Caitlin Clark, and that's the reason why they talk bad about Angel Reese because whatever. Some people may be butthurt because was a fan of Angel, and now Angel has come to the WNBA, and her scoring is not the same it was in LSU. And I get that. She hurt your feelings. Her game didn't translate like Caitlin game translated, and I get you maybe in your feelings, but still. Is that enough to just discredit her and say she can't play basketball? Because that's what I'm hearing. Not from everybody, but some folks have suggested that Angel Reese is not that great of a basketball player. And some had just flat out said that she is not even a basketball player to begin with. Like she cannot play basketball. That's very, very, very concerning in that statement because I'm figuring out for somebody who says she can't play basketball, but she is currently playing basketball at a high level, at the highest level. So, And I know that's semantics, but choose your words carefully if you want to criticize somebody because that's not fair. It's not fair to throw all these metaphors out there and saying something and not saying what you mean. If you're going to talk about somebody, say what you mean and mean what you say. All right? Don't leave no room for of a correction. Stand on what you said. But that's just a whole nother conversation. But no, seriously, y'all, I don't get it. Because here's my thought. What did Angel Reese say that got everybody upset? Once again, that's rhetorical. So I'll say it this way. What did she say wrong that got people so upset? What did she say wrong that was incorrect? Help me understand. Because as I understand as an athlete, which I'm not an athlete on the highest level, but I do play sports, we all are going to bet on ourselves and we all going to talk trash. I'm 47 years old. I just finished the darn 5-day tournament, and I was the oldest player on the team, one of the oldest players. I was the oldest player that played all the games. Let me say it that way, because we had one guy that came that's older than me. He was older, but I was the one who was there from the rudder to the tutor. And yeah, I got a bunch of young Thundercats, young 20-year-olds on the court with me, and I'm talking trash. No, good and well, one-on-one, they would run me out of the gym. But my years of experience got me still believing in myself. And that's okay. Needless to say, our team didn't do well in that tournament. Because a bunch of young cats beat us. And rightfully so, because they're younger. They didn't have no old men on their team. They had a bunch of young cats, and they had more talent than we did, and they beat us. But that don't mean I don't get to go out there and talk my trash. Because at the end of the day, the facts were the facts. Can't neither one of you guys hold me in the paint. Y'all young but y'all, I'm thick. And what I do well. Okay? That's what that is. That ain't the all of the game, but at the end of the day, I know what I do, and I know I can do well against those young, small, little bitty children out there. Well, young men, I'm sorry, no disrespect to them. But it is what it is. We all believe in our game. And because Angel Reese believes in herself now, she should shut up because her game is not as good as Caitlin Clark's. And let's forget Caitlin Clark. Love Caitlin Clark, but let's not use her. She's a guard. Let's talk about some of the forwards that we know about, like Angel McCoughtry and Tamika Catchings, Candace Parker. Let's talk about those. What about the people that's playing in the league with her right now? Let's look at Rain Howard. You know what I'm saying? Phoenicica Collier, Asia Wilson, those forwards. Let's talk about them, who's currently playing in the WNBA. The Leah Boston. All right. Yeah, her offensive game is not as good as those girls, but she still have a part to play in WNBA basketball. She's got to find a team that can utilize her talent and what she do well is defend and get rebounds. That's all it is. And you guys are sitting around comparing the number 1 overall draft pick to a person who wasn't even the first choice of that team that she's on. Angel Reese was drafted for defense. Camille Cardozo, who was Chicago Sky's first pick, was drafted for offense. So when you guys started trying to put her offensive skill set next to Caitlin, because that's what you're doing, it's unfair. But did she do the job, and is she doing the job for rebounds and defense of what she was drafted to do? Absolutely. Now, back to the comment that she said that was 100% accurate. She said that the new people and the new fans of women basketball, they didn't get here because of one player. She said, I have a part to play in that too. And people made a suggestion that she was trying to take the steam away from Caitlin, trying to make it about her and Caitlin. She was jealous because Caitlin was getting all the fan base, fanfare. No. For the people who've already chosen side, it seems that way. And I get, because all the media attention that Caitlin was Clark, that out of nowhere, boom, here come Angel Reese making his statement. I can see how it seems that way if you haven't been watching Angel Reese her whole college career and understand everything that was surrounding her. But if you do your homework, people, listen, please, I'm not here to fuss at you, but I want you to at least go back and do your homework. That statement was accurate. I can tell you why. Because she did not say that the new fan base of women basketball is about just me and Caitlin. She said it's just not about one person. And she didn't even name the person's name, even though we assumed who it was. She said it's not about one person, which means to assume to me, if it's not about one, it's about many. I'm not going to shortchange it with just saying it's about two. If it's not about one, it's about many, and I am part of that many. That's the way I took it. And if you want to take it, she said one, she meant two, and putting her and Caitlin Clark in that field, that's your take. But it can be but I think that's the wrong take to have. But we can differ on that. Now let's go a little deeper. See, Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal basketball player, just like I think Angel Reese is a phenomenal basketball player. But here's the thing that I'm trying to get you to understand, that Caitlin Clark fame took off during the tourney of 2023. Save the Iowa fan base, much of the world didn't know about Caitlin Clark until the 2023 tournament. Most of us, most of the world. She wasn't going viral until the tourney of 2023. And then all of her senior career. Angel Reese was blowing up on social media as a freshman. So at least a year, almost a year and a half before Caitlin Clark was ever thought of, Angel Reese was already blowing up. She already had celebrities coming to her game. Celebrities like Shaq and Usher and Lotto. Just to name a few. All right, to watch her play. And then the alums, when LSU was on that run and now they have a chance to win a national championship, now you got the alums of LSU, people like Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow and Shakira Richardson, all them coming to see her play. Way before the 2024 WNBA draft, she was getting that fanfare. So when she's looking back at all the attention she's gotten and looking at this newfound success for Caitlin Clark on social media is concerned, she's like, yeah, wait a minute. Everybody is coming to watch WNBA, not just to see her play, they're coming to see me and others. All right. Now, and you start looking at that. Now, look, Angel Reese has also carried a torch, an unseen torch for women's basketball. She carried an unseen torch. An unseen torch was, let me show you. This is the torch she carried. Do you know that 45% of young girls drop out of athletics by the age of 14? 45% of little girls drop out of athletics, sports, by the age of 14. And the number one reason is because of low body confidence. And that's it is. And then not only that, I mean, that's the number one reason, but you know how marginalized women's sports is. They don't get the best facilities. They don't get the best buses. The accessories are not good. They don't have the greatest training facilities. They're pretty much the last on the budget compared to the boys. We know that to be true. If you a daddy or a mama and you go and you gonna see and let's say you're daddy mama and you got a neighbor who has a son that's playing sports, their son get the charter buses, ride first class, and they travel to nationals. But your daughter, you got to go rent a Tahoe out of your own dime just to get your kid from softball game to softball game. To go right up and down the street, they got a carpool. At some point, it does get a little old. And if you're not financially stable to handle that ticket, you may be pulling your kid out. Because they're just not a lot, they don't allocate a lot of resources to women's sports. But I'm not going to address that part. It's getting better now because of what these women have been able to do. And now the new attention on women's sports. You're talking about women's soccer, what the Olympic team has done, gymnastics and stuff. We've seen what Simone Biles and the girls done, and just on and on and on. Wherever sport that women is dominating. You look at women's softball. Oh my God, they've done a great job in Oklahoma City by building that arena for the softball World Series. I mean, they're now starting to give all this attention. And even with basketball, if you look at what Phoenicia Collier and Breanna Stewart was able to do with the facility that houses the Unrivaled League, getting them their own glam squad. Every bit of accessory that the women that was going to play and invest in this league asked for, they gave it to them. Top notch this, top notch that. No expense spared. We're getting there. But let's talk about this low body confidence thing, okay? The torch that Angel Reese is carrying is a torch that was passed down from Lisa Leslie, who started off by I'm a great basketball player, but y'all didn't know Lisa Leslie was a model as well. On print and runway. Stood in front of a camera. Commercials, all of it. Doing her thing. Showing that you can be a female athlete and still be sexy. Tia Cooper, Swim Cash, Candace Parker. Now, and I'll just name a few, now you got an Angel Reese. Saying that if 45% of you young girls want to drop out because low body confidence, look at us. We're tall, we're muscular, we're bulky, but we're still sexy. You don't have to drop out. That's the new fan base. That's part of the new, a part of, I'll make sure I say that, a part of the new fan base and the new attention, because she didn't say WNBA. If she would have said that this new attention to WNBA is not about one person, but about me, and I can see where people can zero in and say, "Oh my God, she's trying to steal a thunder for Caitlyn." No, she didn't say WNBA. She said women's basketball. That's what she said. Women's basketball. And WNBA is not women's basketball. WNBA, women's basketball goes all the way back to Pee Wee, to high school, to college, overseas. Anywhere where women are playing basketball, she said, I have a part to play in that too. And I know Caitlin Clark is good, but she is not the only person that contribute to the newfound love of women's basketball. Asia Wilson has a part in that. Breanna Stewart has a part in that. Phoenicia Collier has a part in that. We're just following the footsteps of, like I said, of Elisa Leslie and the Tamika Catchers, Swim Cash. We're following in those footsteps. Angel McCautry, Skylar Diggins Smith. We're following in those footsteps of showing women that they can play ball and still be feminine. That's the other part of it. The totality of women basketball. That's what she attributed to when she said that it's not about one person. But you guys spent it another way and narrowed it down to the WNBA. No. Once again, you only heard what you heard because you've already chosen side. You've already made your opinion about Angel Reese. And the sad part about it, most of you guys didn't hear that statement in real time. You heard that statement after the fact because you're searching social media to trying to verify or try to prove your point on her. A lot of you didn't hear that coming in real time because you wasn't watching basketball at the time. You wasn't interested. Last thing I'll say is that I think that The people who are going to hate on Angel Reese or hate on any other WNBA player, and I'm going to bring it back to WNBA because that's where we are, is because number one I can feel like you're in maybe three categories if you're going to have these negative opinions. Number one is that you just don't like women's sports, period. So there's nothing anybody can say to you that'll pique your interest on it because you just don't like it. So your whole take is going to be negative. Anytime a woman speak about getting equal pay, anytime a woman speak about getting treated fairly as men, you're going to come out with your pitchforks and actions and say, shut up, because you just don't like women's sports for whatever reason. I don't know what your reason is, but that's what you're going to, that's what it is. And since you don't like women's sports, you're unqualified to speak against it. Call it what it is. I don't talk about soccer because I don't like soccer, so therefore I'm qualified to talk about soccer, and that's why you've never heard me talk about soccer on this podcast, because I don't know anything about soccer, and I don't like watching soccer. It's not fun to me to watch. I don't get it. But that don't mean I don't have room to grow, just like I didn't watch golf, and I hated golf, and I didn't stay in golf, and I never talk bad about golf, but I just never watched golf until I started playing golf. Now I would sit down and watch a major or any type of golf tournament because now I understand the game, and I love it. People look at me crazy, like, you about to actually watch this golf? Yeah! Understood. The same way about tennis. I would watch tennis all day long. Matter of fact, I was choosing the darn French Open over NBA this past weekend. That's what it is. I'm sorry, because I like it. Now, they was coming on different times, but still, instead of watching ESPN all day long, throw it on the French Open. That's what I'm watching. But like I say, people who talk bad about WNBA players, they just don't like women's sports. And then you have those people who have a low interest. I want you to hear what I'm saying. People who have a low interest of something, they criticize stuff because they have, when you have a low interest on something, then you set the bar real high to be entertained, which means everything has to be perfect. It's like if you don't like women's basketball, but if somebody tell you to watch a WNBA game and you just don't really care too much about it, and you have a low interest in it, you like the sport of basketball, but you have a low interest in women's basketball, that means when you turn it on, your expectation means I need to be seeing these women play like LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, all the NBA, the top 75 team, they need to be out here on the court in order for me to keep this channel on. Otherwise, I'm gonna turn it off. You set your expectation is real high, and that's not fair because you have a low interest. I know that to be true because that's how I am about soccer. When I turn on soccer, I got 2 minutes before I see the ball going in there. If the ball don't go in that little net in 2 minutes, I'm turning it off. And everybody knows that ain't the way soccer works. But my expectation is high because I have a low interest in sport. And we know all the fanfare behind soccer. We know that there are people, it's a global sport. But me personally, I don't like it. It's boring to me. But I don't sit around and criticize it and say they don't have the best athletes in the world because they are the top 3 of best athletes in the world. I just don't like the sport. Call it what it is. I don't get the sport. I don't even know how to watch it. I don't even know look at it. Right? But like I say, my opinion can change because, if I get a chance to know about it, I just haven't a chance to. That don't mean we're not going to talk about soccer. If we talk about soccer on this channel, it means somebody else is going to talk about it and they're going to educate me. I'm going to sit back and quiet and be listening. But like I say, it's the reason why people talk negative about some of these players because number one, they just don't like women sports, or they have a low interest in women's sports, and so they have a high expectation. When the expectation not getting met, they're turned off. Or you like the sport, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna jump off it real quick. Or they like the sport, they just don't like the women. This is where you get women, this cattiness besides women, this insecure hate that women throw out there. Because when you see a lot of these takes, you have a lot of these takes that are conjured up by women. When RG3 got up there and talked about Angel Reese and she hate Caitlin Clark, that was something conjured up by his wife. No disrespect to his wife, but that was because she's sitting back there co-signing. And he quoted said, my wife told me this the other day. And she stood back and said, I sure did. So whatever reason she have to not like Angel Reese, for whatever reason, that ain't got nothing to do with basketball. That has to do with a woman's insecurity. And y'all brothers out there, you may not be able to say it because your woman may be in the room with you, but I'm telling you right now, I have a wife too, and I get it. Sometimes women hate on other women just because for whatever they looking at, I don't know, but they ain't got nothing to do about nothing, but the only insecurity is in their own mind. My partners of mine sent me this video of this young lady talking about Angel Reese, and they quote, oh, that's what all I've been trying to say. They co-signing on this young woman. And she had a lot to say. But I took to that particular TikTok video and I clicked on her profile and I watched every other video she had. And she ain't doing but hating on a bunch of women, not just Angel. She don't like a lot of women. Just trash it. She trashed Diana Taurasi. What? Let me believe this just some little insecure girl who just don't like these women for whatever reason, and she gonna use her platform to talk bad about them. Like I said, you can believe what you want to believe. If you're gonna talk negatively about somebody, at least do the homework yourself. But if you're gonna take somebody's word for it, at least fact check the information and consider the source. I can sit around and talk about the greatest of all time with anybody. But if I know I'm talking to a person who is a diehard Laker fan, I know whether this person would admit it or not, I know there's going to be a little bit bias mixed in their opinion for the Laker players. It's going to be. Subconsciously, it's going to be. Straight up. That's why I'm the Fat Weather fan. I have pulled myself away from being a diehard Cowboy fan so I can come out here and talk about every single sport. Because as a Cowboy fan, I didn't have the emotions that was necessary to be a podcaster because the Cowboys left me upset so many times. And I did not want to have a podcast where all I'm going to do is talk about the Dallas Cowboys every single time I turn on the mic and the camera. I did not want to do that. I tried it. Never posted anything. I tried it, and it just wasn't good content. I felt like I was missing something. I didn't know what it was. And then I finally started watching other teams play, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting so much ideas and confidence. And even then, it was 3 years later before I decided to do a podcast. Because I wanted to make sure I'm not 2 or 3 years in, all of a sudden got an opinion. I want to invest heavily in these other teams and know what they got going on. So when I open up my microphone and turn on my camera, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best content on a platform to talk about every team and as many sports that I'm interested in covering. That's what I'm all about. That don't mean everybody got to be Fairweather fan because there's only one Fairweather fan. Actually, there's two. There's another guy. They're called the Fairweather fan. I think they're the Fairweather fan podcast. Fairweather. I'm like the Fairweather fan channel. I think I'm the Fairweather fan podcast. I don't know, but if we blow up, then we may have to change the name. Just throwing it out there. Hint, hint. But anyway, but that's just what that is, right? So I'm just throwing out there. I'm just trying to defend Angel because nobody is. It's not that I'm sitting around here just I'm a fanning out of Angel Reese. No, I'm defending Angel Reese because nobody has. Simple as that. That's all it is. And if you want to hate me because I'm defending Angel Reese, then please hate on. Please hate on. Because I guarantee you, if you and I stood in a conversation toe to toe, I will get you so frustrated to where you just yell and scream at me saying, and you will admit what I've been trying to tell you the whole time I was talking. You just don't like her. Because there's nothing that you can tell me that justifies that she's not a good basketball player. There's nothing. Other than the fact that you just don't want her to be, or other fact you just don't like her. That's all I have, y'all. This is my final cut. I've been doing this cut for 5 hours now. But this is my final take. I throw it out there. This is your boy EC22. Please join the podcast at 6 p.m. today or on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube. And boy, we out. Let's get it.